Well, it is Wednesday, and that means plants and garden expert Craig Hignight is joining us live to answer all of your burning questions. And Craig, before we get to our questions, I know you had a couple things you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, we had Japanese beetles show up this week.
Ooh,
so it's time to get out the 7. What you can do, if you will get on top of the beetle problem at your property and keep them at bay, they are going to go to somebody else's property to set up their feeding station. So you just have to be really on top of your game for the next week or 10 days to really reduce the damage to your property. And since Japanese beetles are here, it is time to put down grub control on your lawn. What we're doing is putting down the grub control so we catch those little fellas just as they hatch out of the egg. They're a lot easier to kill that way. So I normally tell people, if you put down grub control more than 6 weeks ago, maybe you should try it again.
That's a good reminder, because those things are just popping up left and right when it really gets into that season. So, and also, I don't want the viewers to be deceived here that I look just as tall, if not almost taller than Andrew, because I'm standing on a box right now. But anyways, let's get to our first question here. This is from Diane. How do you get rid of watergrass?
Watergrass. Well, what you can do is go ahead and if it's in small spots, you go in with your Roundup and you kill the area to go ahead and clean that area up. Then this fall you can go back in and reseed. If you want to take the other route, you can use Citation is the chemical, but I would tell you to sit down before you read the price on the package.
This one's from Kathy. Our 3-year-old sunset maple tree died from a frost line. How do I keep the other young trees safe?
Boy, that is, we've had a lot of trees that got set back this year because we had that late frost. The buds had just started to open up and it just stopped them dead in their tracks. We have to remember that it's going to take 8 weeks, or we're just now to the point that we're starting to see new growth on those trees that got damaged. What you have to do is make sure that you water that tree in August and September, any trees that are fairly new, get them built up for going into winter. One last watering early in December so that they are fully hydrated when the ground finally freezes up, and definitely put some protection around the trunk. Wrap the trunk on young trees to protect from frost cracking and deer damage.
Perfect. And I know I'm supposed to focus on the plant and garden questions, but I cannot skip this question from Jeff. Where'd you get that shirt?
I have got over 50 of these. You probably don't see the same shirt twice in 1 year, depending on how fast I go through them.
Yeah.
And so I honestly can't tell you.
Oh,
sorry.
Oh,
I know it's not a St.
Sorry,
Thomas
Jeff.
shirt.
I tried for you.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, this is from Patrick. So what's the best way to apply Epsom salt to tomatoes?
Okay, Epsom salts gives your tomatoes a magnesium boost, and it's usually about 1 tablespoon per gallon, and you just use it. You could actually mix it in with your regular fertilizer that you're putting on, but like everything else, don't get carried away. You can over-fertilize on tomatoes.
From Gay, should I deadhead my clematis to get it to rebloom, or is it done?
No, like any perennial, go ahead and take those fuzzy heads off your clematis. If it's a rebloomer, it will go ahead and put out another flush of bloom. If it's just a spring bloomer, you're actually cutting the seed production so that the food it's making is going into next year's flowers.
Very nice.
All righty, perfect. Well, I think we're going to stop there for now, but we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to answer more of your questions. Stick with us.
Welcome back. We've got Craig Hignight with us answering our plant and garden questions. And we actually have a question from one of our producers. I have a tulip tree seedling in my backyard. Should I get rid of it?
Not necessarily. It's one of those things that they're very slow growing when they're young. I would protect it. I'd get some chicken wire to keep lawnmowers, weed eaters, and bunny rabbits away from it. After a couple of years, don't take it out of the ground, but just put a shovel in and break that taproot. They've got a taproot. Then another couple of years down the road, when it's developed more of a root system, you can move it to where you actually want it in the yard. If it's where you like it right now, hey, you're ahead of the game.
Perfect. All right, this is from Deborah. When can I trim my weeping cherry tree?
Weeping cherry tree, if you're getting sprouts that are coming out, the top of the tree, they can be taken out at any time. The major time to prune the cherries is like all the other fruit trees. We want to do that after the first of the year when the ground is still frozen.
From Susie, I cut back my strawberries to about 3 inches and covered them in compost. What else do I need to do?
Well, right now, you've done everything. We fertilize after the first crop of the year on strawberries. We do mow them off to get rid of all the old debris. If your bed is more than 3 years old, you might consider taking out part of the bed completely and letting this year's runners start to fill back in to refurbish that part of the bed.
All right, so this is from Patricia. My 2 hydrangea have not bloomed. What is she doing wrong?
Okay, maybe you're pruning them at the wrong time. If it's a pink or a blue, we only prune them, major pruning, in late August. If you're doing fall or spring pruning, you're probably cutting the flowers off. If it's a white hydrangea, it's just a matter of time. They bloom on the new wood, so you can prune them in the spring and they should come into bloom. Don't get too carried away with the fertilizer. Hydrangeas are not heavy feeders.
Tammy wants to know, what's the best kind of tomato to grow in a pot on a deck?
Well, probably the absolute best is the patio variety. It is bred to stay very short. It won't ramble all over the deck. But, if you're going to try a standard tomato, I would go with the best. That's Champion or Celebrity. And if you're growing in a container, we've had quite a bit of problem with blossom end rot where you get that black spot on the bottom of the tomato. If you're in a container, you should be using Stop Rot for the entire season. It's where you're spraying calcium on the plant to prevent blossom end rot.
All right, so this is from Binky. So I have a 30-year-old grape arbor. Do I need to treat it for Japanese beetles?
Well, if you can drape the whole thing in some kind of cover that the Japanese beetles can't get through, that would be about the only way that you're going to protect a grape arbor from Japanese beetles. If you don't mind pesticide, you do get out there and you use your 7 on a regular basis. Always have that little glass of soapy water. Touch the beetle, he drops into the water, he's dead instantly. But you've got to really stay on top of it now that they've shown up.
From Ann, how do you know when the banana peppers are ready to pick?
Banana peppers, well, they're going to turn yellow, first of all. And usually when a banana pepper is about, I'd say 4 to 5 inches long, that's full size. Might as well go and pick it before it starts to ripen. And they do turn red when they are fully ripe, and it does cut down on the heat if you let them go to full maturity.
All righty, perfect. All right, well, we're going to get we can get one more in here. Yes.
Squeeze it in.
Yes, so this is from Chad. So what is the best rose food?
Rose food. Actually, I like the Bio Advanced All-in-One. It's rose food, insecticide, and fungicide all in one container, and you only have to use it about once every 6 weeks, and the rose is going to be protected. But I can guarantee you're still going to have a Japanese beetle bite every now and then.
All righty, Craig. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And be sure to join our Facebook Live with Craig each and every Wednesday. There you can submit your questions and be a part of the conversation. GMPC at 11 returns in just a few moments.